The silent signal. The stars over the edge of the galaxy were cold and empty. Stretching into forever, a lonely outpost sat there, a small alien station guarding the border. For years it had been silent. Nothing more than a listening post, a place to watch the void. The soldiers inside were tired, some bored, some afraid. But all of them believed nothing would ever come this far. That night everything changed. The first attack came fast. Dark ships sliding out of the void like shadows with teeth. They had no warning, no signal, no time to prepare. The enemy fleet struck without mercy, cutting down patrol ships with beams of fire. The outpost shuddered as alarms rang across the decks. Captain Varric, a tall alien with worn silver skin, rushed to the command room. His eyes widened as screens lit with red marks. Hundreds of enemy vessels closing in. "This is impossible," he whispered. "They should not even be here." But the reality burned in front of him. The enemy had arrived, weapons fired back. But the outpost was small. It was not built for war. Only for listening, missiles streaked out. Laser turrets glowed, but against the swarm of enemy warships, they were nothing one by one. Defense lines collapsed. Soldiers screamed into comms. Begging for orders, ships tried to flee. But escape was a lie. The enemy fleet moved like a tide. They had no mercy. They cut down every escape pod. Every small ship that tried to run. The outpost's walls shook as explosions tore through its hull. The enemy was here for slaughter, not conquest. Varric knew it was the end. His people had only minutes left. He looked at his second officer, a young one, eyes wide with terror. "Send it," Varric said. His voice was heavy. "Send the old code." The officer hesitated. Everyone knew the old code. It was never meant to be used. It was a call written in the ancient days. A signal to only one world. A signal the galaxy had sworn never to send. "Captain," the officer whispered, "if we send that, they will answer?" Varric looked at the burning screens, his station dying piece by piece. His people screaming in the halls, "If we do nothing, we are gone," he said. "If they answer, then maybe we live." The officer's hands shook as he touched the console. He entered the sequence, long numbers and symbols from a past the galaxy had tried to bury. A single code. One message carried by a pulse older than most stars. The signal launched a silent scream into the void. It carried across systems faster than light, slipping through ancient channels that still remembered their makers. The station shook again, another explosion ripping through the side. Soldiers fell, alarms wailed, fire poured from the walls, but the signal was already gone. Racing into the dark, searching for Earth. The enemy did not care. They laughed at the weak defense. Their commanders sneered at the desperate aliens. They did not know what had been sent. They did not understand the danger. To them it was only another victory. Another world burned, another people crushed. But far away, hidden in silence, something listened. On a forgotten planet at the heart of the Sol system, deep beneath oceans and mountains, machines that had slept for centuries stirred. Sensors long covered in dust blinked to life. Towers hidden under ice cracked open. Old networks connected again, whispering across the planet. Earth had heard the call. The alien outpost burned. Its last defenses falling. Captain Varric stood on the command deck as flames spread behind him. His officers lay on the ground, the walls breaking apart. "At least we sent it," he said, his voice calm now. "At least someone will know we fought." The enemy ships circled, their weapons ready to finish the kill. The station cracked apart. Pieces drifting into the void, the survivors screamed. But no help came, not yet, out in the cold. The distress call kept moving, carrying its secret message, carrying its silent promise, and in the shadows of Earth, a voice of steel whispered from an ancient machine. Distress code received. Activating fleet protocol. The galaxy had forgotten, the aliens had mocked, but now, the signal had been sent and humanity had heard. Earth responds deep under the blue oceans of Earth. A great silence ended. For hundreds of years, ancient machines had waited in the dark, hidden by governments, hidden even from most of humanity itself. The world above lived in peace, but the world below remembered war. The distress code struck through the old networks like lightning. Doors that had not opened in centuries groaned against the weight of time. Rust fell from massive gears as systems powered on. Screens lit with red words across bunkers. Protocol, Warfleet awakening, in a mountain hollow, sealed under layers of stone. Old soldiers slept in cryo chambers. Their hearts had not beaten for ages. Their minds frozen in the moment they were told to rest until needed again. Now the chambers hissed open. One after another, steam filled the halls. Men and women gasped their first breath in centuries. Their eyes adjusted to the light as the old AI voice spoke. Distress signal received. Sector 9, the voice said. Activation required. All fleets must prepare for deployment. General Marcus stepped forward, a man with scars on his cheek and a face hardened by forgotten wars. He had not aged a day since he closed his eyes in cryo, but his spirit carried centuries of battles. He looked at the AI screen, his jaw tightening. Who sent it? He asked. Non-human station, Galactic border, the AI answered. Station destroyed, survivors unlikely. Enemy fleet active. The general's eyes narrowed. He knew the code well. Every human commander did. It was the warning that said, the galaxy has gone too far. He turned to his awakening soldiers, men and women pulling themselves from the frost. We are called again, he said, and we will answer. Above the earth, ocean split as steel rose from the depths. Massive towers climbed through the waves, water pouring from their sides from the Arctic ice fields. Shipyards hidden beneath glaciers cracked open, revealing black steel giants. Thousands of drones swarmed into the skies, carrying pieces, carrying weapons, assembling war machines with speed no alien eye had seen in centuries. The people of Earth watched in shock. Civilians in cities saw the sea boil as titanic warships lifted into the air. Shadows passed over villages as the giant carriers blocked out the sun. Children pointed at the skies while elders whispered the old legends. The fleets have returned. In space, the first of the ships lit their engines, long black hulls stretching kilometers, bristling with railguns, missile bays, and plasma lances. They were not graceful like alien vessels. They were brutal, made for one purpose, war. The Council of Alien Nations, far away in their safe chambers, received the data with terror, one by one. Their ambassadors watched the recordings, Earth awakening. The halls fell silent. No one spoke for a long time. Finally, one voice trembled. The humans swore never to use those fleets again. They swore, another replied. But they never destroyed them. Fear spread across the council like fire. For centuries, they had mocked Earth, pushed it to the edge of the galactic stage, called them savages, but deep inside, they had always feared this moment. The old nightmare had returned back on Earth. General Marcus stood at the war table, a glowing map of the stars above him. Red dots showed the enemy fleet near the alien outpost. They think they can hunt the weak, he said. His voice was iron. Let us remind them what happens when you disturb humanity's silence. His officers saluted, their armor gleaming. Soldiers old yet new, soldiers born from another era. They moved to their stations, every action filled with discipline, ships prepared to jump, weapons charged. Across the void, the enemy fleet celebrated. They believed victory was complete. Their commander, a tall creature with cruel eyes, raised his arms in pride. No one will stand against us, he shouted. His soldiers cheered. They did not know, they could not know, because in the darkness of space, humanity's engines roared, tearing open the black with light. The war fleet moved, hundreds of ships in formation, silent, deadly, unstoppable. And as the first jump coordinates locked, the AI voice echoed through every vessel. Fleet prepared, jump in 3, 2, 1. The stars bent, space cracked open, humanity was coming. The gathering storm. The galaxy had not been this silent in centuries. On the edge of the council chambers, powerful rulers gathered. Their voices trembled as they read the first reports. Screens glowed with images of black steel giants rising from Earth's oceans, weapons arrays unmatched, war engines unmatched. The counselors stared at one another with wide eyes, remembering the old whispers, remembering the legends. One alien elder, his scales flickering with fear, broke the silence. They said the humans had buried their fleets, he hissed. They swore never to return to war. A taller figure shook his head slowly. Humans do not forget, they only wait. Across distant colonies, across worlds far from Earth, rumors spread faster than ships on trade stations. Smugglers whispered of giant shadows lifting from oceans. On border planets, children listened to stories from their grandparents. Stories they thought were myths of the time when humanity fought all and bowed to none. Now the myths breathed again. Meanwhile, far from these whispers, Earth's fleet assembled in the dark. Ship after ship moved into perfect formation, their hulls gleaming with cold fire, their engines burning blue trails into space. Hundreds of drones swarmed between them, carrying supplies, repairing, adjusting. Millions of human soldiers moved through corridors, checking weapons, strapping into exosuits. Inside the flagship Iron Vow, General Marcus stood at the command bridge. Around him, holographic stars shifted as the tactical AI spoke. Enemy fleet is still present at coordinates near border station. Estimated strength, 300 vessels. Estimated weakness, overconfidence. Marcus's lips pressed into a thin line. He did not smile, he only said, "Prepare the Armada for Phase 1. His officers moved with silent precision. Each one of them carried the weight of old oaths. They had been frozen in time for this single purpose. Their hands did not shake, their eyes did not falter. The enemy fleet, meanwhile, basked in their victory. Their commander sat on a throne of steel aboard his warship, laughter echoing through the chambers. "We have crushed another border." "None dare answer," he roared. His soldiers cheered, banging their weapons on the floor, but in his pride, he ignored the strange signals that began to touch the edge of his scanners. Faint blips that did not match any known fleet. His officers reported them nervously, but he waved them off. "Ghosts," he mocked. "The galaxy is full of lies about Earth." Yet, deep in the hearts of his younger soldiers, fear stirred. They had heard the same stories as children. The kind of stories you laugh at until you hear the silence of your commander's voice when the name Earth is spoken. Back in the void between stars, humanity's warships stretched into perfect lines, like a wall of iron cutting across space. Each ship was a beast of destruction. Weapons layered on weapons. Cannons the size of cities lined their hulls. Railguns longer than mountains locked into position. Nuclear warheads armed themselves in silent chambers. The AI voice echoed through every deck, calm and merciless. Phase 1 complete. Awaiting authorization for war strike. General Marcus stood tall, his armor polished, his scars lit by the glow of screens. He looked at the sea of ships before him, 1,000 lights of Earth's wrath waiting for his order. He whispered almost to himself. "They thought humanity was finished. They forgot who we are." The command bridge fell silent as he raised his hand. Around the galaxy, hidden spies, traitors, and silent watchers recorded the moment. They knew the storm was about to break. Then the order came. A single word that would echo through the galaxy for centuries. "Advance." Engines flared as the fleet surged forward. Each ship roared into the void, leaving streaks of light behind. The black tide of humanity moved faster than any alien fleet had imagined possible. The galaxy watched as the storm began to gather speed. The enemy commander, still celebrating, finally saw the readings spike across his sensors. His laughter died in his throat. His officers shouted warnings. "Unknown fleet detected. Hundreds of vessels inbound." The color drained from his face. "Impossible," he whispered. "They cannot be real." But the truth lit his screens. Earth had answered, and its fleet was coming. The survivors of the border station, drifting in broken escape pods, saw the first human ships appear on the horizon of stars. Their eyes widened, tears filled with both hope and fear, for they had called for help, and now the deadliest help in the galaxy had arrived. Across 1,000 worlds, across halls of kings and dens of smugglers, across colonies and council chambers, the whispers grew louder. "The storm has returned," they said. "The humans are marching again." And in the darkness of space, the gathering storm moved ever closer, ready to break upon the enemy like fire from the heavens. The first strike, the enemy fleet waited in arrogance. Their ships stretched like a black net around the ruined border station. Broken hulls floated among them, debris drifting as trophies of their victory. Their commander leaned back in his steel throne, certain no one would dare challenge him. But the void around them began to change. First came the silence, deeper than normal space. Then came the strange flickers, lights rippling like cracks in glass. The enemy sensors screamed warnings, strange energy signatures building in the void. Officers shouted, "Unknown jump patterns detected." The commander stood, his smile fading. "What is it?" Before anyone could answer, the darkness split open, tearing wide as if the universe itself had been cut, and through it came humanity's war fleet. They arrived not like travelers, but like executioners, hundreds of massive warships, their hulls black as night lined with fire. The first wave alone was enough to dwarf the enemy. Their engines burned blue fury, their guns already armed for a heartbeat. Silence hung across the void, both sides staring. The enemy commander whispered, almost choking, "Impossible." The humans. Then the silence shattered. Human railguns fired first. The soundless streaks of hyper-accelerated slugs cut through space faster than eyes could follow. The first enemy warship split apart instantly, torn down the middle as if by invisible claws. Then came the second, then the third, explosions blooming across the void. The alien soldiers screamed into their comms, trying to understand, trying to regroup. But humanity gave them no time. Missile swarms poured from the carriers, thousands of warheads streaking forward. Guided with perfect precision, the enemy tried to activate shields, tried to scatter. But the missiles broke apart into smaller shards, slipping through gaps, burning ships from the inside. Laser lances followed. Bright pillars of light that cut ships like paper. Whole enemy formations fell apart, their screams vanishing into static. The alien commander shouted orders, panic in his voice. "All ships counterattack! Form defense lines!" But even as he roared, his officers knew their weapons were firing. But nothing touched the human fleet. Railgun slugs cracked their shields, missiles tore their hulls, drones swarmed their engines. On the bridge of the flagship Iron Vow, General Marcus stood calm. His officers reported kill counts. Enemy vessels destroyed, 40, 50, 60. The numbers climbed. His face did not change, he only gave one order. Press forward. Human fighters swarmed like predators, tiny but fast, slipping through wreckage. Chasing down escape pods and smaller ships, no mercy, no pause. This was not defense, this was punishment. The survivors of the border station, still alive in broken pods, watched the battle unfold with wide eyes. To them, it was not war. It was a storm made of fire and steel, they whispered. This is why the galaxy feared them. The alien commander's throne shook as his ship took a direct hit. Sparks burst across his command deck. He clutched the rail, eyes wide with horror. His fleet was dying around him. "Retreat!" he screamed finally. "Retreat at once!" But retreat was already impossible. The human fleet had encircled them with perfect precision. Their ships blocked every exit. Missiles hunted every escape vector. Those who tried to run were shredded within moments. Humanity did not allow survival. Humanity did not allow warning. In the council chambers across the galaxy, the battle was streamed in secret feeds. Leaders watched in pale terror, their hands shaking. For centuries they had mocked Earth. They had believed the humans were broken. They had believed the fleets were myths. Now they watched those myths turn into nightmares. "Gods help us," one counselor whispered. "They are not defending. They are erasing." On the battlefield, the alien commander's flagship groaned as another railgun slug ripped through its side. Fires consumed its corridors. His officers were dead or dying. He fell to his knees as the shadow of the Iron Vow passed over his ship, its guns glowing with final judgment. A voice crackled through his comms, cold and merciless. "You answered a distress call," General Marcus said. "Now you answer to us." The alien commander screamed, "Wait!" Mercy. But humanity did not believe in mercy. Not for those who hunted the weak. The Iron Vow fired, and the enemy flagship split apart in one blinding flash. The battlefield fell silent. What remained of the enemy fleet drifted as broken wreckage, fireballs lighting the void. The survivors in escape pods trembled, not sure whether to cheer or pray, for they had seen Earth's wrath, and it was something greater than legend. The first strike was over, but it was only the beginning. The galaxy would never be the same again. The wrath of humanity. The battlefield drifted in silence. Wreckage floated across the stars, glowing with dying flames. The enemy fleet was gone, broken and scattered. Not even their flagship remained whole. Only fragments of steel and ash marked where their arrogance had stood. But humanity did not stop. General Marcus stood tall on the command deck of the Iron Vow, his eyes cold, his voice steady. "Begin the purge," he ordered. Across the void, human drones spread outward, hunting every escape pod. Every survivor who thought they had escaped now faced a wall of steel and fire. Some begged for mercy, their voices desperate over comms. "We surrender, we surrender." But humanity had already chosen. There was no mercy for those who slaughtered the weak. Missiles found them, railguns silenced them. The void became a graveyard far away in the council chambers. The galaxy's rulers watched in horror. The secret feed showed the massacre in real time. The younger counselors trembled, whispering, "This is too much. They are destroying everything." But the elders only lowered their heads. "This is why we feared them," one said quietly. "This is the wrath we swore never to see again." On the broken border, the few survivors from the alien outpost drifted in cracked pods, their oxygen thin, their bodies weak, yet their eyes burned with awe. They had called for help, and help had come. but not the kind they expected. They saw the human fleet moving in perfect formation, black steel giants sliding through the stars, each ship cold, merciless like predators circling the dark. The survivors whispered among themselves, "They saved us, but they burn like gods of war." Inside the Iron Vow, officers reported calmly, all enemy vessels neutralized. 0 survivors detected. The numbers were final. The battle was not just victory, it was erasure. General Marcus gave no smile, no cheer. His face was stone. He turned to the fleet's comm systems. "Transmit a message to all open channels," he ordered. A signal pulsed out, crossing systems, racing across the stars faster than whispers. It reached trading stations, colonies, even the halls of the council. Every screen flickered. Every comm channel fell silent. The image of General Marcus appeared, his armor glowing under the bridge lights. His voice carried the weight of centuries, calm but merciless. "You called us." "And we answered," he said. "Humanity does not forget. Humanity does not forgive if you prey on the weak. If you strike at the innocent, then know this, our fleets will come, and when they come, nothing will remain of you." The message ended in static, but its echo lingered across the galaxy like thunder. On distant worlds, civilians gasped. Traitors whispered in fear. Soldiers on alien planets held their weapons tighter. The council sat frozen, knowing the balance of power had changed in a single night. The enemy's empire, once proud, had been wiped from the stars in hours. News spread faster than light. "The humans have returned," they said. "Their wrath has no equal." In the ruined border sector, the survivors of the alien station were finally rescued by human dropships. They looked up as soldiers in black armor pulled them aboard. The aliens trembled, unsure if this was salvation or judgment. One soldier leaned close, his voice firm but not cruel. "You are safe now. Humanity answered your call." Tears filled the alien captain's eyes. He had thought his people forgotten, yet here they were, alive because Earth had risen once more, back aboard the Iron Vow. General Marcus stood alone at the observation deck, staring into the endless stars. His hand rested on the cold glass. He knew what would come next. The galaxy would panic. Some would rally, others would plot. All would remember. Behind him, the AI voice spoke softly. "Enemy destroyed, fleet at full strength." Awaiting further orders, Marcus did not turn. He whispered more to the stars than to anyone else. "We did not want this war, but if they force our hand, then we will show them the meaning of humanity's wrath." The fleet turned, engines blazing, their shadows stretched across the void. They did not linger. They did not gloat. They vanished back into the black, silent as death, waiting for the next call, and across the galaxy fear grew like wildfire. The name of Earth was no longer a forgotten whisper. It was terror, it was warning, it was power. The galaxy would never forget the night one distress call awakened humanity's deadliest fleet. And it would never forget the wrath that followed.